Welcome, Divine. Welcome. Welcome, Divine. I decided to go in and do an oracle reading on the energies. We'll start with the Divine Feminine, and then maybe at the end of this one I'll do like the last one and then pull a set for the Divine Masculine. But it really is just laying out 4 cards to just see where the Divine Feminine is, really just getting those channels in from that mental and heart space of the Divine Feminine, and see if there's anything for the Divine Feminine energy to know. Yeah. So we lay out that 4 spread, and then we lay out one of overall as to what this space is leading us into. Okay? So let's look at it, because the first one that we have here, and these are the John Holland cards. So yeah, they're something else. So we just focus right in on this card and we get what we get. We start with the wording being suffering in silence. And you know, we're seeing the track of the Divine Feminine energy and what this current, past, present, future and placing of the Divine Feminine energy. Because see, this is the movement of the inner workings of the Divine Feminine right now. What that space is about is what we find out here. So we just really go in, and this is that suffering in silence. Okay, and then we have that 9 there, summing up within a completion period of that. And you know what I get here is that there's a multitude. It's suffering in silence as to who you truly are as a being, what you truly like, what you're truly interested in, what truly, I'm getting, churns your butter, so to speak. So really in that area with the Divine Feminine energy is like, man, and it's what we've been talking about. So really, you can chime right on in with this in checking out the moves of the Divine Feminine, and then even looking at the divine nature that was in Divine Manifest that was put out right before this reading. But it is that similar tone. But this is really going in, and this is showing the stuff that the Divine Feminine is really just pulling out, rearranging, transmuting, lighting up, you know. So this is what the Divine Feminine energy is really doing some things, is what I'm getting. But really merging that true self, you know, no longer living in that suffering and silence as to who the Divine Feminine is. But not only that, I get no longer suffering in silence about the Divine Feminine's choices. The Divine Feminine has been very ashamed. Yeah, very ashamed of the Divine Feminine's choices that they've made, choices of how they want to live their life, which is opposite of what they've put so much time and energy into and what they've represented. So I'm really getting that the Divine Feminine is really moving away from that space, moving away from the space and going towards the light here. So you see, moving towards that sunlight and really saying, you know, it's no longer to suffer in silence. I am who I am, and I can be who I am everywhere that I am because I am who I am. That sounded almost like a Dr. Seuss Riddler, but it has so much truth in this, so much truth in this representation. And the Divine Feminine I'm getting here is that I've had to deal with every choice that I've made, even the ones that I did not make for myself, the things that I was birthed into, the stuff that I just had to deal with that was dumped on me. So I've had to deal with all of that. Surely I can be okay with the decisions that I make in my life that I always have to deal with on my own anyway. So the divine feminine is really just leaving behind, and you can just kind of see just really staring out in the abyss and just being clear about how they want to be represented in the earth, represented in the world, represented in the society and the community and the spaces around them, represented within their family ships and friendships and organizationals and the way they make their money. They're getting very clear as to how they want to be represented. And they are leaving behind that suffering in silence, which means that I can't be the true me and follow my true heart because of so many judgments about who I truly am. And the divine feminine is recognizing there are no judgments as to who I truly am. I am who I am. Any judgment of that is foolery. Is what the divine feminine is getting. It's just like, yeah, I'm not buying this anymore. Looking out over the hills. I like that. I like that. Let's go on in. Memories of love. Oh, wow. And there's a holding with care there. What I'm getting here is that the divine feminine energy, they're remembering. They're remembering when they felt good. They're remembering when they felt alive. They're remembering when they felt loved. And they're recognizing that there are spaces and places throughout their life that they felt that. But they were weighted down with so much baggage and darkness and blame and shame and all that stuff from those kind of that suffering in silence and having that kind of double life that they were having to live as to who they were, to who they were having to show up, that really masks the life, that the divine feminine in that spacing, having to juggle that, and you got to understand, having to juggle your identity while you're living life in the present moment is quite a task. So the divine feminine was missing some really good spaces and times. Not that they didn't happen. It's just that the divine feminine energy didn't get a chance to hold on to them that long because there was stuff happening within life that the divine feminine was managing and maintaining and taking care of in various ways. And as the divine feminine was taking care of all of those things, the divine feminine, it's like joy misplaced is what I'm getting. Joy was misplaced in the, this is what I gotta do. This is what I gotta do to maintain this structure that had me suffering anyway, So even though there's been such a breaking out of that space, now the divine feminine energy is starting to recognize love in places that the divine feminine didn't really, I'm getting all the senses wasn't there. It's like, shoot, it's really love here. It's really love there. It's really love here. It's really love there. And it's like they're really getting those memories of kind of what it feels like to be in that feeling good space. That feeling good space is that love space, And that's why people love to connect with people so much. It's almost like you can be my object of affection, and the world has standardized that if you're my object of affection, then I can receive love from you. That love spacing from you. And in reality, what you are recognizing is, shoot, that love space is happening all around me every day, in every space, in every crevice. That love space doesn't just come from my partner. That love space is within my world. All the time, there is an opportunity to see each moment, each hour, each day in that space of receiving love. And also the opportunity in that space where it's that suffering, you know? So it's really good. The divine feminine energy is recognizing what brings them that love and that fulfillment, what makes them feel that joy, what gets them going, tickling their fancy, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm getting that the divine feminine energy is doing right now. And they're doing that stuff. They're like, shoot, that made me feel good. Let me do some of that. That don't make me feel good, so I ain't doing none of that. Yeah, that's really good. You know, the divine feminine energy discovered and discerned what was and what wasn't in truth some time ago. But the divine feminine energy has went through so much in these cycles, you know, in these cycles of really shedding and really coming out into their true being. And so much came from that, you know, ancestral stuff, family stuff, present moment intertwinings, current relationships with counterpart, how they make their money, organizations. So much was within that. So the divine feminine is now like, shoot, I'm feeling like I remember what it's like, you know, when I feel light. I remember what it's like when I feel light, you know, and the divine feminine is like, you know what, my life needs to be centered around that feeling. That's the feeling I need to be feeling on my everyday basis. I don't know what's what, but I need it all to align to be this. So that's really good. The divine feminine energy is really just, I'm getting a getting back to the self of knowing that I've always known I am to be. That's what I'm getting with that. That's powerful. Yeah. Oh, wow. That brings it on home. That base chakra. Look at that red. Pop, pop, pop. Fire signs, hugs to you. Yes, that rams are coming out of there. Lion too. Look at that. I love this. This is really that spread out of the power. That spread out of the power. That one. That's what all this is about. Really healing that stuff up. The divine feminine energy is really going through a period of where they're like, look, if it ain't a memory of love, then I'm really not trying to hold on to it and be suffering in silence with this whole arsenal of stuff I'm carrying around with me that nobody knows about too. So it's like two things going on with that. It's like, shoot, I am who I am, but also I've been carrying around all of these like hidden burdens. And, you know, only I am like dealing with these hidden burdens consistently. It's like, how many times can I deal with this? It's like, okay, I get it already. You know, childhood wasn't the way I wanted it. Boom. Last relationship wasn't it. Boom. You know, I desire this with money. Boom, you know. I want this with my compliment, you know. boom. So it's just like so many different things that the divine feminine energy has had just check off, check off. And it's like, look, if it's not that memory of love, and it's just like right there, like my base chakra has got to be grounded in the spacing of it being, if it's not a memory of love that I can look at the situation and say, hey, it helped me to get where I am, to really clear out and ground myself in a way that I've never been cleared out and grounded and held in this strength before. That all of this used to be pain. That every time something tapped it, it was pain. It was pain, you know? But like I'm really facing my stuff. I'm looking at myself. I'm addressing my life. I'm creating my life the way I want. I'm being easy with myself with the stuff that's not the way I want. I am walking and moving in a power that I can say that I'm proud of myself regardless of what's happening, you know? So it's just like, look, as far as that other stuff where I was beating my head up with, or even holding other people's stuff, and I'm getting even wearing the shame just because someone that I was aligned to was doing something or acting a certain way. The divine feminine energy is like, look, that was you. That's not a reflection on me at this point. I have moved on from that, you know? So if you're still in that space and you're in that space, and I am moving on to the spacing of seeing me in love in my past positions, which is the way I moved in those spaces, was the way I moved in those spaces to gain the lessons and loves that I needed. You know, the way I moved in these current spaces is the way I'm moving in these current spaces to move and ascend in the ways that are currently needed, and really starting to have an understanding of self. And understanding self is allowing the divine feminine to be easy on self. It's like, oh, that's why you were acting that way. Oh, this is what you need. Oh, well, let me go ahead and take care of that for you. Oh, and it's like, oh, so this is all we have to do is really be mindful of those cues with self and what you need, and tend to it, and it will stop creating so many of those things that the divine feminine energy didn't want, and was just really holding divine feminine down to where, you know, just rooted, you know, in a lot of painful situation. So everything was like bouncing back to the same pain, bouncing back to the same pain. It's like, oh, a new situation, bounce back to the same pain. New relationship, bounce back to the same pain. New experience in a relationship, bounce back to the same pain. You know, new opportunity, bounce back to the same pain. New thought, bounce back to the same pain. And it was just like so much. So it was like, as much as the divine feminine was enjoying the ride, enjoying the ascension ride, and it's like, yes, I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm evolving, I'm being more spiritual, but it's like, but I'm hurting and I'm hurting and I'm hurting at the same time, you know, because the divine feminine energy was going without so much, because the divine feminine energy was holding on to both natures, which is my former experiences all the way up until yesterday to childhood spacing, and I'm also holding all of these dreams, desires, prayers, and affirmations that I want. So I'm holding both of them, saying, give me this while I'm still holding this, you know. And the divine feminine energy is recognizing now, it's like, okay, no, this isn't gonna work. Let's see what we got here. Boom. Heartache and loss. This isn't gonna work. I can't keep all this old stuff that hurt me on a Rolodex, and also walk in these dreams and desires and passions that I'm saying makes me feel good. It is creating heartache and loss, which it is that juggling, you know. And if any of you are dealing with divine masculine energy that's had a lot of those 3D holds, you know, of the karmic cycle, holds of third parties, you know, and third party is, you know, of course we know it can be another person, or it can be just I guess, maturity level. It can be finances. It could be career. It could be family. It could be anything that your counterpart, your complement is putting before the connection, and you feeling that it's coming before the connection with you two in building what is desired and feeling like what is desired, that a lot of the energy has been outsourced to it, and it's just not understanding because it seems like a block or an interference. And it's like, you know, that happens, and it's like, well, if we're on this journey, and if you're going by the twin flame rules, then there is a mirror in place. There's always a mirror in place, but one to support you. One, because you get the awareness, and then you're able to do what's necessary. So it's like, well, where am I double-sided? Where am I juggling? Where am I double-sided? You know? So, because when we look at third party, it's like, shoot, you know, why is there such a juggle or a not a choice or instability in my complement, in my counterpart? And what the divine feminine energy is starting to recognize is that it's that heartache and loss that's being created by holding on to that past ship of who the divine feminine is, and holding on to that new ship of wanting to walk into these new spaces of feeling and love and happiness and power and connectivity. And leaving those spaces of that suffering and not walking in true self and that previous nature. And see, the divine feminine energy has juggled so much, just holding on to the memories of both and living within both in the present life. So it's like, I know that there is a new way to live, but the divine feminine has held on to the memory of the karmic cycles, the karmic life. So it's like, divine feminine, you have to break up and end your relationship with karmic life. And ending your relationship with karmic life is beginning to hold on to your memories of your spacing that leads you to who you desire to be in your manifestation. If I'm affirming this, I'm praying this, I'm saying that, then this is where I am. But the suffering and silence of holding on to the karmic life experience in which you are on guard for, which you are protecting yourself from, which you are defensive about, which you are looking out for, which you are checking in on, which you are monitoring, that karmic life, to make sure you don't have it, is the existence of it. It's the existence of it. Because if you're doing that to guarantee you don't have it, then you are living it with that spacing. So what's happening is there's a push for the divine feminine energy to really end the divine feminine's energies relationship with karmic cycles. Yeah. With karmic life. And it's just the memory of it that is causing the divine feminine energy to move into spaces like it still exists. But if you're moving into spaces like it still exists, then you're living the karmic life as the divine feminine. And that makes no sense. And that creates that heartache and loss. So the divine feminine energy is recognizing that, where it's like, shoot, I have to break up with that silent suffering of that karmic life, which is that I can't live that double-sided life anymore either. I have to be who I am. I have to be who I am. I have to feel the love that I identify myself as. If I say I'm divine and I say that I'm in that space, well, where's my love? I have to feel this, you know. I have to be grounded within my base chakra, and I have to no longer have those experiences of where it's been this repeat of heartache and loss, you know. So that's an amazing space, because ultimately that is the accusation of the counterpart whenever there is that third party spacing of anything, whether it be their work, whether it be another person, whether it be their mental and emotional growth. Ultimately, the issue is that is getting energy, and the union is getting energy. There is a double-sidedness going on. The wanted and the unwanted, which is that suffering in silence. Who I feel I truly am, who I live in to be. Isn't that the same thing when you look over and you see any type of karmic situations? It's like, shoot, this is what you really desire. Do this, be that, be there. But it's like also the divine feminine energy is recognizing, shoot, this is what I really want to do. This is how I really feel. This is how it's got to be. So I have to stand within that and be within that too. So I won't have that heartache and loss. And the overall that this is leading up to is foundation and achievements. Foundation and achievements. The kitten capoodle. The 4, the rainbow. Family out in front of the home. Standing there, foundation and achievement. So really overcoming. The divine feminine energy is strongly overcoming, no longer being second in their own life. No longer putting what is truly desired of them, how they really feel, who they truly are, what they really want, how they really want to be. And I have it down to what I wear, what I say, what I do, how I go. Not putting that second. And not dibble-dabbling in that half and dibble-dabbling in the other half. But understanding they're multifaceted. So you can have a piece of this, a piece of that. But it has to be on your own terms. Because whenever you put you to the side, you are creating an energetic space of put you to the side. You understand? You're seeing how that, if we go by that twin flame placing of that mirror, if you know that knowledge of what this whole thing is about, then you have to follow all that apply. So you put you to the side, mirroring over, put you to the side, So you really have to walk your talk, do your thing, align with you fully. And then those things outside of you, not only your complement, but those within your world and the things around you begin to align with you too. And that's that foundation and that achievement that the divine feminine has been desiring. And I get wholeheartedly desiring, like, this is what I've been wanting. And it's like, oh, so this is the peace. This is what I have to do. I have to release all that suffering. I have to understand that, okay, even that stuff from the past that I had in those karmic cycles, I don't have to hold on to it to make sure that I don't repeat it, because I'm really just keeping myself in the energy of it. And I'm myself in my divine nature dealing with karmic cycle stuff and creating the same heartache and loss that I'm looking over, and I'm seeing the counterpart is withholding this and has this available. So the divine feminine energy is recognizing, shoot, I'm holding on to this in my back pocket of baggage trail, and then I have this whole life available that does not consist of this. So it's like, let that go and stand in that, knowing that you acted the way you acted in those spaces because that was the way it was to be. It's not to keep it and ruminate over and dissect it and put it in your pocket and pull it back out and do it again. It's no, you take the memory of love from it, which is, oh, that's how that was handled. That was the outcome of that. Really clearing out those roots of stuff is what I'm getting with the divine feminine energy, and really moving from that space of this heartache and loss into what really having that foundation and achievements that the divine feminine energy has been wanting to have, but recognizing that it's not just been the complement, their counterpart, or the people that they have been in connection with, or things of that sort. But the divine feminine energy is going in, and going inside the divine feminine energy is recognizing, shoot, as magnificent as I am, I have discovered I have some power in creating this suffering that I can alleviate myself and not deal with it anymore. This heartache and loss no longer has to be a full circle of the suffering and silence. I can really hone into those memories of love and really clear out that base chakra and stand in that foundation and achievements of everything I've wanted. I can unlock and unplug that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. The divine feminine energy is taking responsibility for the divine feminine energy's well-being solely, and recognizing that they have some power in this thing, and they're rocking it out, and they're recognizing that their outer world is reflecting that back to them. That is beautiful. They are releasing all of that karmic stuff that they already live. And I keep getting already live. You already survived it. You already handled it. Let it go. They're like, okay, well, we're trying to figure out how to let it go. You let it go by remembering the memories of the love attached to it with care, that even if the only memory is, it led me to this space, that's enough of that. I'm getting, and it's kind of going back to those readings before, so check those out. So it's like, there's no space for a bitter place, not here in the base. There's no space for a bitter place, not here in the base. And it's like, yeah, it got me to here. I take that. If there's nothing else, then there's nothing else, and I leave that. I toss that in the abyss and head on to the sun is what I'm getting, to really clear out those roots and not do that heartache and loss where if something happens, it takes me back to that same spacing. So you guys are really, 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 really right on. I actually saw a comment, and you guys check it out on the Divine Nature, that it really described exactly what's coming up here. Just really recognizing, shoot, you know, it's some stuff inside that I am holding on to that's attaching me to my old karmic cycles, and yet I'm wanting my divine the divine masculine energy to release their karmic cycles. And you know, this is something that can be mirrored as well. Mirrored as well. So, and that's the beauty, that's the honor, that's the coolness of a twin flame journey. If you're working this journey according to the belief system of what the divine union is about. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Yeah. The golden mission. The golden mission. I like how that mixed. Is union. Union within self, and then union with others. Yeah, within, without. Yeah, let's see a divine masculine oracle. Before, you know, anyone who's sticking around, I'm going to pull the cards for this, for the divine masculine, and then we will do a divine masculine read a little bit later. Okay, so that's what we'll do. Let's see what we come up with. Let's do one shuffle too for the divine masculine. We'll do an oracle, because that oracle was so good for the divine feminine. Yeah, that's why those are cool. And this is a good time to do that, because, you know, we are in justice and unions, endings and beginnings. All right, so we need... four spread, just like we did with the divine feminine. All right. Uh-oh. cards are so slick. They're pretty though. You know how I like my cards. I like to really know it's my card. Yeah, just like that. Sacrifice. Woo! Alright. What's going on with that divine masculine energy? Uh-oh. Heartache and loss. Looks like the twins are twinning. Let's get one more. Well, actually two, because we want our overall. Yeah. Third eye chakra. Divine masculine. Love that. Let's get that overall for that divine masculine energy. Overall, divine wow. Isn't that something? Overall ending where the divine feminine began. Is this not a twinning? All right, we will go in and do the divine masculine. So wonderful. See you at the next video.